Check it out, man. Um, we back. I ain't even getting into the intro. Gang member smokes his own brother for being racist. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Hood War Stories. In this episode, I'll be discussing an
Stories.
incident involving Zambra. Dexter Paul Williams, also known as Zambra, is a black Southsider from the Monrovia Nuevo Barrio gang. There's a big misconception that Sereno gang.
Whoa. I know the Hispanics and blacks kind of like this. But I did not know Hispanic gangs take in black members, but he probably getting into
Gangs
that.
don't allow black members. But in the Nuevo Barrio gang, there's a big misconception that
I don't fake none of my reactions. I be in this shit. I got a degree in gangology, bro.
Sereno gangs don't allow black members. But in reality, a large percentage of Latino gangs have black members, especially from 1970 to 1990. And until this day, many barrios have a handful of black members. Demographic shifts and heavy prison politics pushed forward a lot of racial strife between black and brown gangs, which reached a peak in the 2000s, thus making Sereno gangs less mixed. Monrovia Nuevo Barrio is an Hispanic gang based in Monrovia, California. In the 2000s, Monrovia Nuevo Barrio was involved in a racially charged, extremely volatile war against the Do-Rock Crips.
Oh no.
In a period of about 18 months, there are about 79 shootings between Do-Rock and Monrovia Nuevo Barrio.
I already know
The
where it's about
intense
to
gang
go.
warfare rocked the city. These two gangs were locked and loaded. The accumulated bodies left ill feelings on both sides, and some members may have been left harboring racial animosity. On August 28, 2004, Gabriella and her brother Angel had a party at their parents' house in Monrovia. Angel was a member of the Monrovia gang, who at the time did have some white and black members. Gabriella did not associate with the gang.
Bro, I can't even say that because I know. I'm not even gonna say it. Just get back to it.
Because the siblings had different friends, the partygoers split into two groups, with Gabriella's friends mostly hanging out in the patio, and Angel's friends congregated in the alley. The party was mostly attended by Hispanics, but a few blacks were present. Many MNV gang members attended, including Derek, Jorge, Teddy, and Ernesto. A few hours after Jorge got to the party, Zambra arrived in a light-colored car. He parked off to the side in the alley. Zambra was an OG MNV gang member, and his nickname Zambra, which is Spanish for shadow. Zambra said hello to some of the gang members in the alley and headed toward the house where some of Gabriella's friends were congregated. Zambra walked up to a group that included Joseph, Amanda, Shannon, and Gabriella's older brother Jose. No one in the group knew Zambra. Zambra then asked Joseph for a cigarette and was given a Marlboro Red. Joseph then left because he did not know Zambra and he felt awkward. Amanda and Shannon also felt uncomfortable. Eventually, all of Gabriella's friends left Zambra to go inside, which offended Zambra. Amanda tried to defuse the situation, but Zambra appeared to be getting angry.
No, bro.
Gabriella went over to Zambra and asked if he was looking for his friends. She indicated that Angel's group was in the alley. Later in the evening, Jorge saw Ernesto and Zambra standing in the alley in a confrontational way. Teddy then witnessed Ernesto call Zambra a racial epithet. Ernesto threw his arms up at Zambra in a challenging manner, then turned away from Zambra. Zambra then pulled out a gun and fairly shot Ernesto once in the back of the head. After the shooting, everyone scattered, except for Gabriella, who was in the house and ran out to the alley. Initially, she thought the gunshot was a loud firecracker and assumed her brother was setting off fireworks. Gabriella then noticed Ernesto's body laying on the ground near Zambra's car.
Damn.
She thought that Ernesto was drunk or had gotten in a fight. Zambra then got in the car and tried to leave, but Ernesto's body was behind his left tire and blocked him from driving away. Zambra then tried to back over the body of his car. Gabriella tried to
That's when you get out the car and run, bro. Oh, never mind. They said, hold on.
Successfully revive Ernesto. So she banged on the car and yelled for Zambra to stop driving because there was a body behind his car. She then screamed for someone to call the police. Zambra told her not to call. She was able to move Ernesto with her brother's help. Once Ernesto was clear of Zambra's car, Zambra drove off. The murder remained unsolved until 2008, until the investigation was reopened, and witnesses to the crime were re-interviewed as part of the investigation.
4 years later.
In the course of one such interview, Joseph stated for the first time he had given Zambra a cigarette. The detective had cigarette butts found at the crime scene tested for DNA. Zambra's DNA was found on one cigarette from the scene. The assigned detective heard that Jorge had information about the murder and picked him up on a probation violation. Jorge denied being at the party initially, but then said he saw Zambra shoot Ernesto. He recanted his statement at Zambra's first trial, but decided to testify in his second trial because he didn't want to be taken away from his daughter. At retrial, Jorge told the detective that he was afraid for his family. Jorge had to be relocated, but a brick had been thrown through his window after he moved. Zambra was an OG member with higher rank. There's essentially a hierarchy in gang culture, and if an older member is disrespected, he must respond forcefully to maintain respect. Within a barrio, loyalty is everything, and
Yeah.
gang members may retaliate against a
But-
snitch or his family members by assaulting or killing them. Jorge testified under grant of immunity. The detective also interviewed Charles, who said that Shadow smoked baby. The detective also interviewed Zambra, who denied being at the party several times.
Yeah.
During the trial, the detective had began to listen to calls that Zambra was making from jail. In one call made during trial, he told his mother that everyone needs to get the same story straight due to substantial evidence and key witness testimony.
Oh, man, that's your first mistake, man. You don't talk over the phone, bro. Don't talk over the phone.
Dexter Paul Williams, also known as Zambra, was found guilty of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to 110 years to life in state prison, comprised of the 25 years to life on the murder conviction, tripled under the 3 strikes law, 25 years to life for the gun enhancement, and 10 years for the 2 prior convictions. Zambra is in prison locked in with his Serrano brothers, and is currently working on his appeal.
RP Ernesto, man. That's crazy.
I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and
He's crazy, but you can't just be this was in 2002, 2004. You say something like call somebody a hard R, or I can think of other ones that I can't say, but this video gonna get knocked down. But I don't know if racism was I don't know. I wasn't born. I was born, but I wasn't out there. I was a baby to know if racism was crazy bad at this point, where if somebody called you the hard R, you would just shrug your shoulders off and walk away. That's how I am now. But I ain't got called that in forever. You only get people to call you that on a game like Call of Duty or GTA or 2K, but something different. I don't know, but killing a man, bro. You could have just punched. You could have snuck him. When he walking away, boom, knock him out, move on with your day. That's all you had to do. But well, he got 110. He not getting out, and that appeal not gonna happen, my boy. I don't wish bad on him, but it's not gonna happen. But hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Catch y'all on the next one.